Hello and welcome to round number 5 of the Monsters of Destruction 2006. I'm Kevin Hines. This week we're in beautiful Missoula, where the vast mountains of Montana lay claim to more livestock and rodeos than they do monster trucks. Leading into round number 5 is Craig Christensen on top of the points for the obstacle course as well as the straight line drags. Competition today is going to become very tough for our 2005 season champion as we add not one but 2 trucks to the lineup for a total of 8 battling it out for that cash purse in both events. Let's take a look at our field of drivers.
There's no fast loser. You get popped the first round, you go to the stands and watch the rest of the show.
You don't worry about the other guy very much. You're mainly concentrating on the truck and making sure everything's ready and you're ready for the light.
A little bit of skill now, so hopefully we can come out and instead of just being competitive, hopefully take some wins.
We go out there to put on the best show possible, but we do it in a way, in our own style. We have fun.
Hopefully I'm going to win because I got to show off my new suit. I got to do the interview in the winner's circle.
With us, we just push as hard as we can push and do the best you can do every round, which gets you prepared for the next round because of the class of trucks and the group of trucks that are here.
I feel people gunning after me, but if I worry about what's going on and that people are trying to chase me down, then I make mental mistakes. I try to stay focused on what I'm doing each and every round.
I don't really care who I'm racing because I know on any given night I can beat anybody here.
Now for straight line drags, here's your overall standing so far this season. It's Craig Christensen on top in the Dragon Slayer with 89 points. All the way down to Frank Scattini bringing up the rear with 12 points. In the obstacle course standings, it's Craig Christensen on top also with 86 points, followed by Patrick Swanson, Runty, and Long. In 6th, it's Kelvin Raymer in Natural High, followed by Paul Jensen and Frank Scattini. So as Dan Runty greets some of the great fans on hand here in Missoula, Montana, we get ready for round 5 qualifying. Kevin has joined some of our drivers. Let's hear from them.
Well, Dan, we're here in Missoula, Montana. It's round number 5. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Well, we've been on top, we've been on bottom, so hopefully we'll get back up on top. If we can beat the rain here, so there is a little bit, but it's a good track. It's going to be a fast track. I think it's going to be a driving track, so we'll just see where we're at.
Jason, it's your first stop in Monsters of Destruction for the 2006 season. You're coming in on round number 5. There's some tough competition out here. Any predictions for tonight?
I'm just going to do the best that I can. Nobody really intimidates me, so as long as I'm doing what I can do, I'll just let them try beating me.
All right, Dan, we're out here in Missoula, Montana. It's round number 5. You've put on a tough competition so far this year. You come from behind after having to step in after Rick Long had to step out of the series, and now you've got some catching up to do.
Yeah, we do. It's going to be a little different here. It's a little different in round 4 and 5. It's a longer track. It's going to be a little more of a driver's track. Ramps are steeper. The first jump's steeper. It's all stuff that we didn't have. It's going to be a driver's track. Horsepower isn't going to mean everything, but it's going to come into play at the end.
All right, here with Kelvin Raymer, driver of the Natural High Machine. Kelvin, you came out last round and you popped some wheelies for us and you got the truck way up in the air. I believe you've got a new slogan on the roof of the truck. What's that?
Living the dream. Something that you'll be able to see when we stand her straight up and read the roof.
So now when you stand her straight up, living the dream, go ahead and explain that for us real quick.
Well, this is something my wife and I have dreamed about for well over 20 years and have saved our money. It's been a long time building this truck, and every time we're out here doing this, it's living the dream.
All right, Rick, you're joining us out here for round 5 in Missoula, Montana. Any predictions for tonight's event?
Do everything I can, put this truck up on top, make everybody happy with me, make all my sponsors pleased. We've been out this year. We started with Fab Tech, started out really good, won the obstacle course in round 1, been in semifinals 4 out of the 4 times between straight line and obstacle. Had last month off, did a lot of work, got a lot of stuff done to the truck, a lot of little stuff. Spent a lot of time with my dad, who's ill right now. So it was pretty cool spending time with him, getting some of the little stuff done to the truck. We've dedicated this whole tour. I'm out on the road for a month and a half on bringing home some trophies for my dad. So we got to do everything we can.
All right, now here round number 5 in Missoula, Montana with our 2005 champ, Craig Christensen and the Dragon Slayer. Now, Craig, you've come out, you've put on a good showing so far this season, and you've proven once again you're on top of the points, and that's got to make you feel a little more comfortable coming into round 5.
Yeah, round 1, round 2, we kind of struggled a little bit. We kind of regrouped, got it back together, and like I say, well, hopefully we can continue our winning ways and just keep moving forward.
All right, we've heard from all the drivers. It's time to qualify here in round 5 from Missoula. There's Brad Campbell in the Monster Moose carrying the 07. He will be running with Paul Jensen in the Spider-Man, the number 02 truck.
And these two trucks, a great matchup as they come in through qualifying. Now remember, we're going to run each truck once in each lane and take the faster of the 2 times as they work their way into bracket races, Wade.
Looks like Monster Moose was quick there with a time of 6:05.3 in the right lane. It was Spider-Man at 6:2.68, but Monster Moose's reaction time was actually a lot slower.
Monster Moose with a .617 reaction time, almost double the time of what it took Paul Jensen to get off that light, and that might make quite a difference as they come into racing action later this evening.
So this is Bigfoot and Samson, Runty and Patrick. Look at Samson get airborne there. It's going to be close. They're pretty much running neck and neck. The times here, 5:6.07 for Bigfoot, but Samson, Dan Patrick, turns in a 5:5.74.
And look at the reaction time. A .416 for Samson was 0.3 of a second slower off of the light, but yet with a faster run, and that shows a little bit of what we can expect from Samson out here tonight.
We move on now to the first pass for each of these 2 trucks. It's Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer with Kelvin Raymer in Natural High. Good start for both trucks. A little slow there for Raymer. Dragon Slayer looking strong there. He posts a time of 5:6.81 in the right lane. Raymer 6:3.52.
And you can tell there's certainly a difference in trucks there, and the technology that has backed those in the suspension and the way that the driver experience plays part out here in qualifying. Craig Christensen just gunned it all the way through the light, and no problem whatsoever taking Kelvin Raymer in the first qualifying round.
All right, Kevin, here's the first pass for Rick Swanson in the Obsession and Jason Grill in Public Disturbance. Swanson, he's on the gas. He's flying. Jason Grill sideways coming across the line there. The time, 5:9.68 for Swanson in the Obsession. Jason Grill not bad at 6:3.72. So here comes Paul Jensen in the Spider-Man coming to the line. He will run with Brad Campbell of Monster Moose. Brad Campbell looking to beat his 6:05.3 fast time in the right lane. He'll move to the left. He's on the gas. He's a little slow. Here comes Jensen. Look at this. He's on his side. Almost flipped that thing. Fast time that time. It was still Spider-Man 5:8.16 despite getting off camber there.
And if you watch those 2 trucks, you notice Monster Moose, his suspension actually locked up there a little bit when he was in the air, unloaded, and allowed him to get back on the gas on the ground. We're moving on to the next 2 trucks now. Dan Patrick here in the Samson, which posted a fast time last time against Runty and the Bigfoot. And here they go side by side. They're off and running for their second qualifying run. Samson is going to have the faster time this time around. We'll be back after this break.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company.
Trying to decide how to paint your house.
And Kevin Hines back with you from Missoula, Montana. Round 5 of MOD action. So far, it's Dan Patrick and Samson fastest with 5:3.31. 4 trucks to go. Here's Kevin to tell you about it.
Kelvin Raymer right here in the Natural High, a very underpowered truck compared to the rest of the trucks in our field. Craig Christensen, our 05 season champion out here in the 01 Dragon Slayer. And here they go side by side. The light is green. Christensen is off and running a little quick. Kelvin Raymer with the wheels over the front and a nosedive across the line. Raymer looks like he's going to take that one home.
Interesting moves there. Kelvin Raymer, he gets it up on 2 wheels. He's going to be great in freestyle, but it doesn't help him go all that fast. And it started to rain here in Missoula, Montana, as the next 2 trucks come out trying to be top qualifier here tonight. It's Rick Swanson in the Linux Obsession truck going up against Heavy D, Jason Grill in Public Disturbance. There's the green. A lot of air there for Swanson. Grill struggling a bit. Swanson the faster truck that time. He posts a time of 5:9.76. Jason Grill checks in at 6:2.84. So your top qualifier tonight is Dan Patrick in Samson, followed by Dan Runty in Bigfoot, Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer, Paul Jensen, Kelvin Raymer, Brad Campbell, Rick Swanson, and Jason Grill. So we move on to elimination competition here in straight line drags. It'll be number 2 against number 7. Rick Swanson in the Obsession machine going up against Dan Runty in Bigfoot. Kevin, Dan Runty would be the season leader if Bigfoot was getting the points, but because they split driving duties, he's got some work to do.
That he does. In fact, he's got 2 rounds to make up for, which could, in fact, take him all season, depending on what happens. Here you see Runty in the Bigfoot with the faster time going to be advancing into the semifinal round. And Rick Swanson in the Obsession looking like he's having a little bit of trouble getting traction in the mud.
Here's another look at the reaction time. Pretty strong off the line for Obsession. Bigfoot a little slower off the line, it appeared to the naked eye, but he sure made it up on the track.
And it looks like Runty with that new compounded tire has been helping him on that Firestone knobby tire. They cut it down quite a bit. It's a new compound that they've been trying the last couple of rounds, and so far it's been seemed to work really, really well for him, Wade.
So there you see it. Bigfoot moves on to the second round, and something to note here tonight, Kevin, there's 8 trucks in this field, so that means there's no fast loser. If you get eliminated, you go home, or at least you got to wait till obstacle course racing to come back.
That's right. It makes it a little bit tougher competition. No hopes for these drivers if they mess up once, even if they qualified very quickly or they came out in heat races fast. Not a chance to come back into the semifinals. Here you see Paul Jensen and Spider-Man going up against Kelvin Raymer in the Natural High, and Natural High getting a little bit of airtime. Natural High with a faster time, advancing with a 5.984, Wade.
That was a really close heat, and Spider-Man's having all kinds of trouble keeping it going straight and level to the ground. He's getting sideways, upside down almost. I don't know what's going on with the handling of that Spider-Man truck, but the line of cars really giving him some trouble.
That's right, and Natural High with a little bit less power that he has in that motor might actually do him a little bit better in the mud here, because he seems to be getting some very good traction off of the line the last time he faced off against Christensen. We saw him in qualifying. He wheelied over the cars, got some traction on the second jump, and now we're into brackets. Natural High obviously advancing over Spider-Man going into the semifinals, Wade.
Yeah, so we move on to number 3, Dragon Slayer against number 6 qualifier Brad Campbell in the Monster Moose, and it's starting to rain a little harder here in Missoula. How does that affect the handling and the performance of these trucks, Kevin?
You know, a lot of these trucks are so heavy they can actually get going pretty quick, but there you see as Christensen leaves the line, when they're putting 12 to 1,400 horsepower to the ground, obviously the tires are going to spin. It makes it a little bit more difficult for him to get a good reaction time across that beam, and Christensen, no holds barred, a 5.750, going to advance.
Yeah, look at Brad Campbell here. He spins those rear tires, and they didn't hook up right away, and I think he lost this race at the line. Christensen got away cleaner.
That's right. A lot of these tires, they cut those knobbies down so far, planning on a dry track all the time so they can shave about 2,000 pounds off of the weight of these trucks. And here you see the cam. You see the suspension working very hard over the cars in the Dragon Slayer cam. And that's going to make all the difference for Craig Christensen out here tonight.
That and stomping on the gas about 0.3 of a second faster than Campbell did. Gave him a great advantage right out of the gate.
Look at that, not even close. Dragon Slayer going to advance to semifinals. We'll be back with more Monsters of Destruction after these words.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by Monster Jerky and by Monstrous Displays. Back with you for round 5 of Monsters of Destruction action from Missoula, Montana. It's raining here, Kevin.
It is going to get awful slick over the course of the night as we move back into straight line drags. It is heat number 4 here of initial elimination as Jason Krill and Public Disturbance coming out of the Puget Sound area gets lined up and ready to roll against this man, Dan Patrick and Samson. And this is going to be a heck of a race for Grill to try and compete, Wade.
Yeah, he's a relative newcomer to MOD action. He's kind of a fan favorite, never really had a lot of success, and he's not going to have it here. He almost misses the cars completely, goes up on 2 wheels, and Samson beats him, but it was close. About 0.2 of a second separating the 2 trucks here.
0.2 of a second can mean the difference between winning and losing. Let's go back and take another look at this. As Grill trying to get off the line. Look at that, a little bit slow, not throwing the mud like the other trucks out here. Samson gets off very quickly. He's back over the second set of cars, and that 0.2 of a second is going to give him the win here.
Yeah, Public Disturbance might get a smog ticket there. He's throwing a lot of smoke out there. What's the deal with that?
You know, I don't know. It's a little bit cold out here in Missoula, Montana, where we're getting the rain. The weather has gotten a bit chilly for the fans and the trucks out here, so the heat coming off the exhaust very well could cause that steam.
So the second round will pit Bigfoot against Natural High, Dragon Slayer against Samson. Let's move right along into the semifinals. There's Kelvin Raymer in the number 18 Natural High. He's going to do battle against that man, Dan Runty, in Bigfoot. Dan Runty has been quite a role here in MOD competition. He's doing everything right.
Runty is off the line very quick. Kelvin Raymer, a tough race for him. He tries to wheelie it again as we saw in qualifying action. This time, Runty in the Bigfoot with a 5.448 is going to whoop him and move on to the final round. Kelvin Raymer is going to have to sit out till obstacle course action, Wade.
You think he tried to do this wheelie, or he just came over the cars? This Natural High truck is set up for freestyle, a lot of slap wheelie action. It's just not set up to go straight. He can't keep it all 4 wheels on the ground.
That, and he's running almost 100 cubic inch smaller than these other drivers out there. And look at it. It shows a .527 reaction time versus Runty's .174. Runty much faster across the line, and Natural High is going to suffer there. Bigfoot advancing to the final round, Wade.
So we move on to our last semifinal heat. It will feature Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer going up against Dan Patrick and Samson. Both of these trucks highly competitive, and it could be anybody's race, Kevin.
Well, let's take a look at Dan Patrick. It doesn't appear that he's out on the track yet. He's still back in the pits trying to get that truck rolling. Let's see if we can find out what's going on here, Wade.
Well, we're getting a report from the garage that he's having some timing problems with that engine. They're looking at the distributor to see if there's a problem with the distributor. It's just missing.
Well, it could be results of the rain out here in Missoula, Montana. Look at this. Christensen is going to run by himself with a red light coming across the line. However, even with that red light, because Samson did not come to the line, that is going to put Dragon Slayer into the semifinals with Dan Runty and Bigfoot. Looks like he was trying to cut a faster time than Runty here with that quick reaction time, Wade.
Yeah, he was looking for lane choice, trying to beat Runty's 5.444. I think the drivers think the left lane is the favored lane, so Craig was trying to get lane choice, every advantage he could possibly get. But by redlighting, he really caught a break when Samson couldn't answer the bell. Our final is set, though. It'll be Bigfoot against Dragon Slayer.
And here we move into the final round. Craig Christensen and the 01 Dragon Slayer has got to feel lucky to be here after coming out with that red light. He's been having some problems recently timing that reaction time. Dan Runty and the Bigfoot, obviously a little bit different compound and tire. Runty does very well in the mud, and here they go. They're off and running. The light is green. Who's it going to be as they cross the cars? It looks like Runty answering the call with a 5.444, Wade.
I don't want to bring gymnastics into this, but it looked like Craig just did not stick the landing over that first obstacle, the little tabletop jump. He bobbled coming over it, and that's where he lost the race. If he landed smooth and kept his forward momentum, he would have won because he was faster off the line, but he got all out of shape coming over the line of cars, and that's where Bigfoot passed him in the air.
And look at that reaction time. 1/1000th of a second difference. A .096 versus a .097. That's going to leave Dan Runty in the winner's circle in the Bigfoot truck. Summit has got to be happy with that.
So results tonight, Runty your winner, followed by Christensen, Raymer, Patrick, and Swanson. In sixth place, it was Jason Grill there in Public Disturbance, followed by Paul Jensen and Brad Campbell and Monster Moose last. Your standings after round 5, it's Christensen on top in the Dragon Slayer, followed by Patrick, Swanson, Runty, and Jensen. Rounding out the top 10 in the season, it's Raymer, Long, Scatini, Grill, and Campbell.
All right, now, Dan, once again, a spectacular finish. You come out with the legacy of the Summit Bigfoot, and once again, you end up on top.
Yeah, I mean, horsepower wasn't everything here. This rain's hurting everything. We'll take this one, though. I mean, it's just this track was a timing thing and a driving thing on this straight line. We got roundy round yet. I mean, that's going to be really tough in this. You know, it just keeps raining, but it's making it interesting. We'll take this one to the bank, though.
That's right. Well, do you think that the special tires that you have cut on the rear of this truck do any different on this track?
That's something we're still testing. I mean, I honestly can't answer that. We haven't run them a whole bunch. You know, we've used them in several different race conditions, but I haven't really put them in the mud yet either. So this is going to be a test for that. I mean, the Firestone tires are working for us, but we're just going to have to see.
Well, Dan, congratulations on the win out here tonight. Whether the tires helped or not, you came out on top once again. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Now down here with Craig Christensen. Craig ended up in second spot out here in the straight line drags, but out of a field of 8 drivers, it's a little bit tougher to get up to the top. And once again, you proved that you and the Dragon Slayer deserve to be up in the top.
Yeah, I would rather win the deal, but like I say, here in this mud slop, we'll just get through the night and see if we can't regroup for the turning course and come back out.
That's right. Now, we were talking just moments ago about lane choice out here in Missoula for round number 5. What part does that play in an event like this?
It's playing a big part here because the left lane is much better than the right lane. I run them both, and the right lane throws you real bad. You can walk up and look at it. The tabletop is a different length than the other side. And so your lane choice really plays a big part. And I even offered Dan $20, and he still wouldn't give me the left lane.
Surprising enough. Well, Craig, you came out here. You had a great showing. Once again, the Hummer did great for you, and congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say we do the best we can. We got to thank our sponsors, Lynch Hummer, Tough Country, everybody that gets behind us to help each and every weekend. And like I say, we'll be back.
Craig, congratulations. Great to have you out here. Thank you.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. This is round 5 of the 2006 season. 8 trucks here in Missoula, Montana, doing battle in obstacle course racing, Kevin.
That's right. This is going to be a driver's course out here tonight in Missoula because the track, as you can see there with the camera, Rick Swanson pulling up to the line, is very, very muddy. Now they've got a tabletop right off the get-go. They've got to turn a J-hook style of corner and then another tabletop and a set of cars. So it's going to be very difficult to make that corner and get going here, Wade.
Yeah, this will come down to driver skill because it's a very sloppy track. There's a nice power slide, almost over-rotates there to Dan Runte. Now the trucks, oh, look at that in the back. Obsession is doing donuts. He's confused. This isn't freestyle. This is obstacle course racing, and he just ate it right there. And Bigfoot beats him by a country mile.
That's right. Runte thought it very kind to spray him with mud as he rounded that corner, and looks like Rick just gave up the ghost and decided to do a couple donuts for the fans out there. Let's take a look at the replay as they work their way around. As you mentioned, a beautiful power slide by Runte and Bigfoot, and look at Obsession in the background there, just eating all of Bigfoot's mud as he comes around the corner. Bigfoot, like you said, a country mile. I don't even know if that'd describe it. Obsession might as well have not even run this time.
Swanson's reaction time really strong there. He was aggressive coming off the green, but a little too much throttle perhaps, got on the brakes, and when he stomped the gas again, he just turned it around. Ever the showman, he wasn't going to go out quietly. He did a couple donuts to try and get the crowd going, and Bigfoot just beat him by quite a bit there. He will advance as we will prepare for the next heat in obstacle course racing, which will be Kelvin Raymer in Natural High, the number 18 truck, and he will go up against Paul Jensen and Spider-Man. You got to think, based on past performance, that Spider-Man and Paul Jensen a heavy favorite here, based on the short wheelbase and the fact that Kelvin Raymer's got a lot of horsepower and not a lot of steering in this truck.
That's right. Kelvin Raymer, like we mentioned, new to the MOD Series this year. As he works his way around the first corner, Paul Jensen with a good stopping power slide back and lined up for the cars. Raymer obviously struggling on that first corner, working his way around this muddy track. Jensen is going to take this one home.
Yeah, he beats Raymer by about 5 seconds, and it's pretty rare in obstacle course racing to see a truck need to come to a complete stop to get around a turn, but that's what Jensen did, and he won with plenty of time to spare.
That's right. He knew right off the bat that he was up against Raymer. Right there, he can look over. You can see the helmet was turned sideways. He was watching Raymer. He saw him go along. He said, you know what, I've got the time. I'll get lined up. I'll get it nailed down, and I'll move on to the semifinals. Paul Jensen with a great executed run out here tonight against Kelvin Raymer in the Natural High.
Yeah, the way Jensen came to a complete stop right there, I would think as sort of an untrained observer that he runs the risk of stalling that motor. Is there anything to that?
Absolutely, especially out here in the rain when the trucks are getting very wet with the mud that they're slinging. When it comes to a complete stop, it, of course, stops all the momentum of the truck and the motor as well. It very possibly could stall the truck or get some water in the ignition.
Nevertheless, a successful run for Paul Jensen and Spider-Man. He will face Bigfoot in the semifinals as we move on to heat number 3. It will be Dragon Slayer, driven by Craig Christensen, going up against Brad Campbell in the Monster Moose. But, Kevin, there's a breaking story. Monster Moose not allowed to come out. His kill switch not working. That's a safety issue. We can't have that truck going out of control into the crowd, risking injury to our fans here in Missoula. So Monster Moose out, trying to get that kill switch taken care of. Look at Christensen. He's struggling, but he's got no opponent, so all he's got to do is keep it rolling. And if he comes across the line, we're still waiting on him, but if he does, he will advance. It's a good thing he didn't have competition because that was sloppy.
That's right. This track also very sloppy out here tonight as the rain continues here in Missoula. Not only is it chilly outside, but ever so slick as these trucks continue through obstacle course action. Christensen moving his way back into the pits, a single run by himself. Monster Moose not able to join us. So Dragon Slayer, despite the slow run, is going to move into the semifinals.
One more heat left in opening round obstacle course action. Here's Jason Grill, Public Disturbance, the number 13 truck. His friends call him Heavy D. If you saw the opening of the show, you might know why. He's kind of a big guy, but he is driving pretty well right here. He catches a break as well as Dan Patrick has not answered the bell. What are you doing, Jason? Throw it in reverse. You got to finish, buddy.
And
what's going on with Samson? I don't know. Samson, if he can get the car started, the truck started, he could still win this thing. Grill is like, I don't know, he's lost out there.
Man, oh man, with as slick as the track is, you can see he locked up the tires right on the backside of the cars, almost slid into the gate. And like we had talked about before, it is 100% a driver's course. He's 10 seconds slower than our competitors early in the night. And that shows that Public Disturbance has got his work cut out for him against Dragon Slayer when they move into the semifinals.
But in Jason's defense, he posted a faster time than Rick Swanson did in the Obsession truck, who was eliminated. So, I mean, he beat somebody.
That's right. Out here on this muddy track in Missoula, it is very difficult. You got to take whatever you can get out here, regardless of the finish time. If you can make it around the course and hit the finish line, that might mean the difference between moving on or going home. And here we see Bigfoot Runty going out against the KCM truck.
Mud is flying everywhere here in Missoula. Spider-Man having all kinds of trouble. He has come to a stop. I don't know if he even finished. They credit him with a time of 23:7.89. Boy, just a tough race for Jensen there as Bigfoot advances to the finals yet again here in MOD action.
And let's take a look at the replay as Runty comes off the line. Another great executed corner as we saw earlier in the evening in obstacle course racing. Runty is back across. I think tonight, Wade, that man right there is going to be the guy to beat in the final round.
And Runty was able to keep that truck rolling all the way through the turn, but as you see here, Jensen has to lock him up. Can't really complete the turn, can't get back on the gas for risk of spinning out, and here he locks him up before coming to the line. I don't know what that's all about. Had trouble here, just a lot of trouble did Spider-Man and Paul Jensen.
Looks like he was trying to save that light tree. He was a little bit off of course, and he knew it. But anyway, Bigfoot going to advance to the finals. We'll be right back after these words.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. We are in Missoula, Montana. This is the second semi of obstacle course racing we're getting ready to contest here tonight. It will feature Craig Christensen in Dragon Slayer going up against Jason Grill in the Public Disturbance truck. And Craig Christensen is a heavy favorite here, even though Jason Grill is known as Heavy D.
That's right, heavy favorite, a little different phrasing there, as Christensen has earned that name as he worked his way into the Missoula round here. Here you see both trucks off the line, Grill with a very slow start. Where is Christensen going?
It doesn't matter, Kevin. He's red lighted. He's done. All Jason has to do is bring this home, and he's going to move into the finals because Christensen has the potential to be disqualified for jumping the green. Come on, Jason, keep it rolling. Here he comes. He's across the line. Jason Grill is going to the finals to do battle with Bigfoot.
Man, oh man, and what and that was well earned tonight. You know, I got to give it to him. He stuck with it. He hung with it, throughout the muddy course, even though he wasn't able to get enough traction to clear this double off the get-go. You know, more or less, tortoise beats the hare. The consistent driver wins in the end, and that's what it came down to tonight. It looks like he's going to the finals, Wade.
He is. He's going to the big show, center stage here for all the marbles. Jason Grill got to be pleased with that.
And look at Christensen a little bit far behind as he overshot that corner after the red light that had to destroy him mentally as he come off 15 thousandths of a second. Coming across, and look at this. Christensen right there just basically gave up mentally coming across the line.
Well, I know Jason Grill, and this is his big shot to establish himself and gain some credibility as a force to be reckoned with in monster truck racing. I bet he's dreamed a long time of this opportunity. I think he's going to show up in the finals, Kevin.
That's right. We'll have to find out what he's got in store for us out here tonight. The rain continues out here in Missoula. The track getting even slicker as the night goes on, as the times continue to slow down. And there's our final matchup. It looks like it's going to be Runty and Bigfoot versus Grill and Public Disturbance. Let's move on to our finals here, Wade.
Man, it's like teacher and student here. Bigfoot, 30 years in the business. Jason Grill, about 30 minutes, relatively speaking. He's got his work cut out for him, but this is probably the biggest opportunity of his young career. It's a clean start for both trucks. Little trouble there over the first kicker for Grill. He's having trouble rounding the turn. Here comes Bigfoot. Not a lot of momentum, but Bigfoot has a comfortable lead here. He's going to come across the line with a time of 14.144. Public Disturbance, 17.7 seconds. His best showing of the night. Pretty good effort on the part of Jason Grill. He made the finals, but just fell to a faster, more experienced driver in Dan Runty. And Bigfoot is your obstacle course champion here tonight in round 5.
Now let's take a look at our replay one more time here, Wade. Another perfectly executed corner by Runty, showing the years of experience that he has in the business in that Summit Bigfoot machine. Grill, unfortunately, a little less experienced driver, very new to the business, new to the MOD series. There you can see undershoots the corner, locks the tires up, has to take it super slow. And that right there is what cost him this race.
Nevertheless, a good showing. Anytime you make the finals, you get a lot of credibility. He served some notice here tonight that he's here for to play for keeps. Dan Runty, the champion, followed by Jason Grill in second, as we mentioned. Paul Jensen took third. Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer credited with fourth. Kelvin Raymer in Natural High is fifth. And Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck is sixth. your standings after round 5. Craig Christensen still on top. Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck is second, followed by Dan Patrick, Dan Runty, Paul Jensen, Kelvin Raymer, Rick Long in Bigfoot, Jason Grill in Public Disturbance moves into 8th, Frank Scattini, and Brad Campbell.
All right, now down here with Dan. Now, Dan, not just one event, but 2 events tonight. You walked home the winner. That's got to make you feel pretty good.
It is, especially in all this. I mean, this is anybody's game out here, but Bigfoot, you know, the team we got home, Roy and those guys, Brian and John, I can't say enough about them. Chandler's been at it forever, too. It's the equipment. I mean, it's bad to the bone. It is. We're ready for anybody. Bring it on.
Well, I tell you what, you proved a lot out here in the mud. You came out, you put everybody down. You didn't have one by run, unlike 2 of the other drivers that we saw out here tonight. And there's a lot to be said for that. You ended up in the winner's circle twice.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, like I said, you got to drive by, you know, and to pull a win out like that in this is actually, it's a driver's course. If somebody said this wasn't a driver's course tonight, then I guess their equipment wasn't set up right.
Well, Dan, I'm sure the Summit Bigfoot team is very proud of you out here tonight. You're going to walk away with 2 trophies, 2 cash prizes, and once again, you're working your way up in the points, and you're working towards that first place spot.
Yeah, we are. We're going to work on that, you know, in the weeks to come in this whole series. You know, it's neat to have the television part of it, and we're real proud that we're doing as well as we are on it. And we got to thank everybody, even the fans. I mean, the fans are awesome.
Well, Dan, thanks again. Congratulations on your wins out here tonight, and great to have you out.
Thank you.
Back to Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. Wade Sherman and Kevin Hines with you from Missoula, Montana. This is round 5, and it's time for freestyle. Gotta like freestyle, and here comes Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck. I know he likes freestyle.
That's right, Rick, like we had mentioned before in previous programs, never a camera or a crowd this guy did not like. Always comes out to show off. Even when he was losing a race earlier, he busted out and did a couple of donuts for us out there. Through some mud, and it looks like freestyle is going to be a little bit difficult out here tonight, Wade, with the mud that is out on the track.
Well, with the kind of traction that a muddy track will give you, he should be able to get some donuts hooked up, and that was a nice jump for distance. Carried a lot of speed into that jump, not a lot of air, but he sure flew that truck a long way down the center of the arena here.
Look at the mud all over the windshield. You know, one of the things that these drivers unfortunately do not have is wipers for a rainy event. When it comes out and they get mud all over the windshield, it's got to be difficult to see out there. As he rolls his way over the tabletop, let's see what Swanson's got in store for us, as he's got about a minute or so remaining in his freestyle run out here for this Missoula, Montana crowd.
Man, the tabletop just eroding there. Look at the speed there, into a bit of a slap wheelie on the landing. He's going for distance, but he's carrying so much speed, he's got to lock those tires up to get that truck slowed down and turned around to make another pass.
That's right. This arena, like some that we have seen earlier on in the season, a very short arena, a very tough course out here. So the drivers have to capitalize on the traction they can get. There you see Swanson struggling even to get into a donut as the truck tries to take off. We get some good mudslinging there. Swanson's favorite thing to do is that right there in that FabTech Obsession truck.
That was a nice donut there. He crabs it to a stop there. A little power slide. He's going to wave to the crowd. A nice finishing move with the tight donut there. A lot of smoke belching from that Obsession truck. Rick Swanson has a lot of fun, doesn't he, Kevin?
He does. You know, Rick always comes out and has a good time, whether it's in freestyle or racing. You know, unfortunately, his dad has been ill so far this year, so he's come out. He's tried to take some races for his dad. Looks like freestyle, he's going to have to donate it to him as he launches over those cars, gets a little bit of distance, and it looks like that's all that Obsession had for us this time around.
Here comes Jason Grill in the Public Disturbance truck. A lot of air right there, the biggest air of the night so far. He's coming to play here tonight. He's pretty aggressive in his first move.
That he is. You know, he's got a lot to prove out here in MOD action. His first time out for the 2006 season. We've seen Public Disturbance once before last year. Now he's got to show these guys that he comes out and he means business and he's here to stay.
One thing I will say is I've seen a dramatic improvement in the execution and the approach on Jason Grill from year 1 to year 2. Seems to have a lot more confidence this year.
That he does. He came out and he showed that just by finishing each and every race. Last year, he would have given up a little bit early when he came around those corners. He saw the competitor was ahead of him. Not so this year. He ended up finishing, ended up in the semifinals, a second-place finish out here for obstacle course, and that's got to pump him up a little bit for freestyle out here.
He's got a little fire in his belly this year, and he's carrying a lot of speed here as he sets up his next move, gets on the brakes. Well, just as I said, he was aggressive. He really slows down, but then he approaches that center jump and gets some good distance right there.
That's right. You can see how difficult it is for these drivers to stop. The brake's not working very well as they lock up all the tires. They got to throw it sideways and hit the gas to keep from hitting the arena side. Here comes Grill, lines it up. Some good air over the cars that time despite the mud out here. And let's see what else he's got for us here, Wade.
Not a lot of time left in his run. Thought he might go into a donut there. Gets it up on 2 wheels right there. This truck is filthy. I'm glad I'm not down there where the mud is flying. There's some dirty fans down there. Here's a donut. He's going to try and hook it up. Not as tight as Swanson so far, but a couple of revolutions there. He's giving it his all here tonight.
That's right. Very difficult on the track. Look at that. Grill with a huge launch. Smoke bellowing from the truck from all the mud building up on the exhaust. And that's got to make the fans out here happy, Wade, with a nice big launch to finish up his run.
Yeah, he shut it down just at the right time, too. He was about to cook that motor, and it would have been an expensive night, so I'm glad to see him shut it down when he did. Here's a look at some of his better moves. Some distance right there. He's flying pretty well in that public disturbance machine. All in all, a pretty good showing for Jason Grill here tonight.
That's right. The truck quite a bit different than it was last year, but this man right here, known for his wheelies so far this season, the slap wheelie king, Kelvin Raymer in the natural high there you see. He tries to get one up, but I think he might have a difficult time out here in the mud tonight getting that wheelie bar to actually hit the ground.
I don't know. I've seen this guy do a lot of freestyle shows, and I think he's going to have something special for us here tonight. He is definitely set up to do tricks and a lot of aerials. He's not really built for speed or turning, but there's some air right there into a slap wheel. He's got it right him, Cowboy. Look at Kelvin Raymer. That Bronco's bucking here tonight in Missoula, isn't it?
That's right, carrying the wheelie bar, digging it into the mud as he moves his way around the arena, trying to get slowed down to make that corner. As there you see he's got to put the brakes on, not able to get good traction. But Kelvin Raymer appeared that he had something written on the very top of the truck there when he went up in the wheelie. We'll have to see if we can check out what that is here when he does it again.
Coming back into the arena now, probably trying to set up another slap wheelie. Carried a little longer this time perhaps. Up in the air he goes. No wheelie on the landing that time, but he did crush some of those cars. A lot of distance right there. He's got the wheelie going. Can't get the bar engaged as we thought he might there, but a good wheelie on the landing nonetheless. He's going to turn it around, make another pass about halfway through his freestyle run. Some sparks flying from the underside of that natural high. Maybe he's got a problem. I don't know. He had to find reverse there. He's going to set something up. Let's see what he does here. We apologize for the poor lighting. He has gone off the track surface into the nether regions of the fairgrounds here in Missoula, but he comes back now. Let's see what he's going to do.
Back into the light. Kelvin Raymer, always a good showman. Let's see if he gets another slap wheelie here. Almost able to get it all the way up, and there's the top of the truck that we were talking about earlier. Living the dream is what that says on the top, and the sparks that everybody's seeing coming from underneath this truck are indeed the brakes as he tries to get that thing slowed down to make the corners. Obviously, the mud becoming a factor, binding up the brakes a little bit as he comes to a stop, throwing the sparks as he tries to get that thing slowed down. Let's see if Natural High's got it all off the back of the jump, Wade.
Looked like a tailgate stand coming off the tabletop there. Carried it for a little bit. That was one of the better moves I've seen from Kelvin Raymer.
That's right, a great wheel stand coming off. Obviously not able to carry it because of some of the things involved as he moves his way out of the arena. Not able to see when you're that high in the air. You can't see through the bottom of the truck or just about anywhere. And here he comes back in front of the fans here in Missoula, Montana. He's going to try it one more time. There he goes. He's all the way up. He's rode the rear all the way out of the arena, Wade. That's got to make him happy.
And a second on the landing. He brought it down and right back up, and he is out of here. That's a good finish for Kelvin Raymer. Let's see. Maybe not. Is he going to turn around and come back? Hard to say. I think he's going to just make one kind of victory pass in front of the fans here. A good crowd on hand in Missoula considering the adverse conditions with the weather. Really impressive. Let's see if he's got anything left here. Up in the air he goes. I think he's pretty much done, but he's not ready to admit it yet.
That's right. They've got 2 minutes out here on the freestyle track here in Missoula, Montana, and there you see him slowing back down, coming around the backside. Wanted to give one more good showing for the fans. He came around the cars. Looks like he's going to make one more pass in. Normally what he'll do is come in front of the crowd, put the truck in gear, and then kind of hang out the window and wave to everybody, and we'll see if he finishes just like every other MOD freestyle round that he has done in the past.
Yeah, the belts are coming off. There's smoke coming out of this machine. It's a good time for him to shut it off, and look at him all the way out of the truck while it's still rolling, acknowledging the fans here in Missoula. No hands, Mom.
Look at that. A freestyle move all its own as he works his way across the track. And back with the replay here. Kelvin Raymer launching over those cars, trying to get another wheelie as, man, oh man, not able to grab it there.
More freestyle still to come on MOD after these words. On Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel, Wade Sherman and Kevin Hines with you for round 5 in Missoula, Montana. We're at the Western Montana Fairgrounds, and here comes Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. Still the driver with the sole distinction of the only driver to roll over an MOD competition.
That's right. You know, last year in MOD action was almost able to complete a backflip. Got it about almost halfway around, ended up upside down in the middle of the arena, and it was something else. In fact, we sold his hood in pieces as it tore the truck apart.
Yeah, I tell you, he's done some great freestyle maneuvers in his time, and I think they're still paying for some of the dasher boards where the Coyotes play. He took out 3 or 4 of them. But Paul Jensen, definitely exciting. Let's see what he's got for us here tonight in freestyle.
You know, Paul Jensen, one of his signature moves is he almost always comes out of the arena broken. He freestyles so hard that truck goes through so much abuse. He's just there for the crowd. He wants to show everybody that Spider-Man's here and that he means business, and he always has a lot of fun out here on this course, Wade.
Thought he might go into a donut there, couldn't really get it hooked up. The rain has let up a little bit here in Montana, but it's still very muddy. A lot of air right there, slaps that nose down. A decent landing for Jensen there. He's going to swing it around and take another pass here at the center of the arena. Not a whole lot to write home about so far in this freestyle run, but he's got about half his time left.
That's right. It's very hard to run the expectations for these trucks out here tonight. With the track being this muddy, it is difficult for him to get some speed. There you see Paul Jensen. There's some mud buildup on the motor already. We got a little bit of smoke coming off. Doesn't look like it's anything to be concerned about. However, Paul Jensen getting pulled off. He's going to hop out of the truck now. It looks like he's done out here tonight, Wade.
Well, must be something to be concerned about. You know, these motors are expensive. I don't think he wants to cook it, so he's going to shut it down. Whoa, wait a minute. Definitely cause for concern. They're bringing out the hook. There is something wrong with that truck.
Man, just like what we were talking about earlier, Paul Jensen almost always goes out broken. He comes down hard off of this jump off the cars. Looks like he might have hurt the truck a little bit. Don't know if it was a motor problem. We'll wait till we hear from the pits, but we'll be right back.
Look, here's the deal. When you talk about
Kevin, there's just one truck remaining, and the fans at home know who that truck is. 30 years in the business, winner of both divisions here tonight, straight line and obstacle. Here's Bigfoot, Dan Runty, the pilot here tonight.
That's right. After 30 years of heritage out there, Bigfoot has a huge team, and Dan Runty, of course, one of their best drivers out here on the MOD circuit. Now out here in the unique Summit-sponsored Bigfoot to bust out some freestyle for the Missoula, Montana Fairgrounds here, and looks like the mud's not bothering him a bit out there. He's going to try and get some big air right here as he launches over the cars, Wade.
A lot of speed right there, locks him up, spins it around. Going to try a donut here, swings that back end around, thought better of the donut. Lines up his next jump. He'll mash the gas. Not a lot of air so far. I think Kelvin Raymer, really, the bar has been set here tonight by Kelvin Raymer. He'd had a great freestyle event.
That's right. I think he set the pace out here for these remaining drivers, the Missoula, Montana Western Fairgrounds here. These fans have come to expect great things from monster trucks out here, especially after watching Kelvin Raymer in the Natural High. Came out, did several slap wheelies, buried the rear end of that truck in the mud, and carried it all the way across the arena. And it's a tough act to follow, Wade.
It is. Dan Runty doing the best he can here, but obviously he is more set up to go fast and to go roundy round because he won both divisions here in Missoula, Montana, trying to finish strong here in freestyle, but he's going home with the money no matter what he does here.
That's right. Freestyle or no freestyle, Dan Runty is a happy man right now in that Summit Bigfoot, and it looks like he's going to call it good at that, Wade. He's going to get out and wave to the crowd, and that means freestyle is going to be done for the evening out here. Let's take a look at the replay one more time.
Well, Dan Runty finishes off what has been a great evening here tonight for everyone at the Outdoor Channel. This is Wade Sherman for Kevin Hines saying join us next week on Monsters of Destruction.